Hi everybody, Carol Garrison here with Carol's Creative Escape. It is time for another Make It Monday. Tonight is Monday, November 11th. I suspect many of us have had either a great week or a not so great week as everybody processes as a result of the election. And I think all we can hope for moving forward is that we can work together and keep things on track until the next election. So whether you're happy or sad, I'm grateful that you're taking time out of your schedule to join me. And hopefully this class tonight brings you a little joy as you can reach out and touch into that creative space. I know that when I'm struggling with things, it's always nice to be able to get down into my craft space and let my creative juices flow through a little bit. That's all I'm going to say on the politics. It's cool either way, and we'll make it through this, whether you're happy or sad. I've had a really busy week. Last week, this is kind of a crazy busy week at work, some longer days, goofy things. I had one day last week where I live in the suburbs, very much suburbia, and I was backing out of my driveway and nearly hit a 4-point buck who was crossing my driveway. Was not expecting that in my driveway, much less something that I even needed to watch for while I was backing up. Usually it's other cars or people walking or running or biking or whatever. So yeah, I was very surprised to see that. And then I fell that same day, just tripped over my own shoe. Nothing that I can say that is very exciting or anything, but man, I went down so fast. So just know your surroundings, practice walking in your shoes, and be careful when you're out there. Fortunately, no major injuries or anything like that, but it's kind of a humbling experience when you realize just how quickly you can go down. And I think I had something else really weird happen that day, and this was all kind of like before I ran into some friends at a gas station near where I work, which is not near where I live. So that was kind of a day brightener to run into them. Anyhow, busy week. Saturday we had the grandkids, and that is always a very busy time. I had to laugh because I've got this container that I store my blends in, and I do have to frequently hide things on my desk. Usually it's from my daughter's cat who likes to take things. So I never quite know where I'm going to find things anytime I come downstairs. But I could not find a single one of my blending brushes. Not a single one. I asked my sister because she was down here for a while on Saturday. Asked my daughter thinking, oh, the cats took it. But we couldn't find anything. And as I was setting up tonight, I heard some funny sounds behind me, and I turned around and looked, and I've got a cat tower behind me here, and I heard noises, and there were 2 cats digging around in a little cubby hole. And I looked over there, and sure enough, I'm thinking that my granddaughter took all of my blending brushes and hid them in this little cubby hole for the cat thing. And in this case, it was good. The cats found them for me. So I thought that was kind of a humorous start to my night here. Anyhow, enough about me. Again, I thank you for taking time out of your schedule to watch me. My name is Carol Garrison. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator from White Bear Lake, Minnesota. And I like to spread joy one card at a time, whether that's teaching somebody how to make cards, sending a card off I've made to somebody, or helping somebody else be brave enough to send one of their creations off. I think receiving a handmade card and note is kind of a lost art. And I have yet to find somebody that's received one of my cards that said, oh, I hated getting this. So just keep that in mind. That could be a good day brightener for people too. Let me go ahead and flip my camera over. And I apologize as we bounce around here just a little bit. Oh, I got to flip the screen too on my camera. There we go. And we'll take a look to see where I'm at on my iPad. Make sure I'm in the right place. Get all my cabling out of the way. I'm thinking you can see that cord. Yep, you can see where my ceiling's falling apart too. I got to get that fixed. All right. It's time to play the little moving game to see what adjustments will get the workspace better into the camera here. And tonight I seem to be having some problems getting it there. Hopefully this last adjustment I made, there's always a time delay from when I make a move to when I see it on my screen here, and I seem to be a little bit crooked. So I just got to play a little bit and keep adjusting things. Oh, that did it. I'm not touching anything else. All right, awesome. So the last few weeks I have been sharing with you some Christmas cards and things to make. And tonight will be no exception. Again, I am working with Christmas cards using some of the different papers that are available in the catalog. At this point, when I'm making gift card holders, I like to make sure that they're quick and easy, because if I need to make a lot of them, I want to have that opportunity to do that. So this particular paper is one that I've used in the past, and I am grabbing the name for you here. It's in the mini catalog, and it is called, it is not that one, it is called Sentimental Christmas Designer Series paper. And I really like how the snowflakes kind of go with that without there being any snowflakes in here. And then just kind of a fun little look with the die. When you open it up, you can write a little note, and then your gift card will slide right into here. So again, quick and easy. This paper is also in that mini catalog, and when I ordered this, what really caught my eye was in fact this paper that I've used on the card. And it's one of those products where I admit I ordered it simply because I liked that top layer of paper that I was seeing, and did not pay a lot of attention to what else came with that paper. And I'm okay with that when I got it, because again, I really like this. But I was pleasantly surprised when I opened up this pack of paper, and I'm kind of stalling for time, just a titch here, and realized that it included, this is on page 18 in that mini catalog, it included these 3 pieces of double-sided designer series paper. And actually, this gingham and that look kind of cute together. I'm not using it today, but kind of stretch your imagination on it a little bit. These 3 pages, those are all punch out. So there's wreaths, there's the little snowflake, you get those poinsettias in the slides. So it makes for some quick and easy cards that you can put together just using these die cuts. Greatly framed here. You know, punching all those out. You've got this cute gingerbread thing, and you could probably combine it somehow with the gingerbread man there. Lots of things that could be done with this. So like I said, it's a specialty designer series paper. I was pleasantly surprised. I fell in love with this. Didn't really care what else was in there. So when I got it, I had a pleasant surprise in dealing with the rest of it. This is actually the Misty Moonlight cardstock that it's sitting on with these ornaments. But this green in here is Granny Apple Green. Would go with this. So again, just a little bit different color combination, but I really liked how this card turned out. Use my deckled circles to make this. I am going to let you know that this is actually an old, the Mary is an old paper pumpkin stamp that I've hung on to, and the Christmas comes out of the Greetings of the Season stamp set. It's just right there. There was actually a Christmas that went with the Mary in a different font, but it was just a little bit too long for my space. So I had this vision of what I wanted, and I thought I had a stamp that would be big like that, and I just wasn't finding anything. And so I dug through some of my paper pumpkins, and that's where that came from. I want to show you how to make this. This card was inspired by Tracy Bradley, who is a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. And here we go. I have my cardstock all ready to go. So the first thing to make this card is you're going to have a piece of cardstock that measures 5.5 by 8.5, and you'll be scoring that at 2 3/4. I guess if I go this way, 2 3/4 and 6 3/4. And then you need a piece of basic white cardstock that measures 4 3/4 by 3.5, and that's the piece that's going to slide into the pocket. And then you need a scrap of basic white for your sentiment. I actually used the Heartfelt Hexagon punch to create this. The white is just one single punch. To create this red border, I actually took 2 of these out of real red cardstock. One I cut in half lengthwise, and one I cut in half top to bottom. And that allowed me to spread it out and create that background all the way around on my sentiment. Again, I used the Merry Christmas sentiment from Greetings of the Season. And just so that you're aware, this technique that I used, you can do this with many of the label punches that we have. And some of them you can even just do like the top or bottom. You could cut it in half lengthwise and then spread it this way. And maybe it would be white on the edges. I just wanted that red all the way around, so that's where I came up with that. All right, designer series paper for this card. You need a piece that measures 5 1/4 by 2.5. And then another piece that measures 5 1/4 by 1 inch. Now on here, I did use a 1/4 rounder punch just to round out these corners. I debated doing it on this strip, but decided that that would look kind of funky. And so I chose not to. I suppose I could have done it. I might have had to round all the corners. Anyhow, I didn't do it because it just, in my mind, did not work very well. And then to assemble the card, it's really easy peasy, but I'm going to share with you one trick that I learned while making the card so that you don't repeat my mistakes. Let's go ahead and fold it on the score lines and burnish it down with your bone folder. I wanted to make sure I had a really tight, crisp fold here so that it would stay down. And that's just because I'm not sealing it closed or anything, so I didn't want it sitting like this kind of a thing. If you fold it back and forth and burnish it both directions, that really breaks the fibers down a little bit to give it that flexibility that isn't there when you just score it going one direction. So just a little tip for you. All right, then you're going to take your tear and tape. I love this. This is one of my favorite adhesives only because it's really strong, but it's so easy to use. I remember in the early days of my stamping, we had same type of tape, but it had that orange backing. You remember that? And it was so hard to get that orange backing off. And you always needed to use your scissors, whereas with this, you literally can tear it and it comes, you know, separates. If you do run your bone folder or some other tool over it, it does make that backing peel off real easily. Now, I almost did what I wanted you to learn from me. Before you seal this, take that piece of basic white cardstock that's going to go on the inside. Now, you could leave that loose and they could pull that note out if you wanted to do that. You know, then you could write on that full thing. Or you can just adhere it and have it here so that it doesn't move, if that makes sense. So I'm going to grab my tape runner. And if you see me doing that on my hand, it's because it's not running right away. And if I just drag it slightly across the back of my hand, I do get the tape to start running and it does not stick to my hand. So that makes me kind of happy. So if you do want to adhere your white cardstock to the inside of your card so that it doesn't slide in and out, make sure you tape it down before you close the card up. You can do it after you've created this pocket. It's just a little bit easier to adhere it if you do it first. And like I said, you can always leave that loose so that it can get pulled out, and then you could write on the full piece of that card. All right, then the next thing we're going to do is take this 1 inch by 5 1/4 inch piece, and I'm just going to run my tape runner. And by the way, the reason it kind of sticks like that is I'm probably pressing a little too hard, and I'm not kind of doing that check mark at the end. So if you do that, generally you're not going to have problems. So I am putting this in the lower portion of the pocket. There's still a 1/2 inch that is showing here, but that's actually going to be covered by this flap, creating that nice even border kind of all the way around this particular layer. Okay, and then the next thing that I'm going to do is adhere this piece of cardstock. Now it looks kind of like my card might be just a teeny bit wonky. I'm going to do something I don't normally do, but that is bothering me because I can see it. I'm just going to come through and trim a teeny bit off this edge. And I always say that it's a teeny bit when it kind of curls as I'm cutting it. And that helps straighten it out so these sides are more lined up. You can tell it's not a very big piece, and it's sort of curled as I cut it, so I got rid of that. Usually I'm afraid to cut it because I don't always cut very straight. All right, we're gonna take the tape runner and we'll do these cute little reindeer. Sometimes when I was doing these, I was having a hard time figuring out where am I going to put my label, because I don't want to cover up this cute paper either. And on this one, I am going to put it down just a little bit lower because I want as many of these deer to show. You could push it off to one side if that makes you feel better, or there. I'm doing it at the center just so that it does kind of hold the card closed, but totally up to you. And I'm just going to put adhesive on the top half of this shape, because if I put it on the bottom half, I'm going to run into problems with the card being taped shut then. See, if I had tape down here, it would close there. And now I've got this card put together. And again, here's the pocket that your gift card would go in. It's always nice to have a couple of these on reserve. I think this would make a great birthday card gift holder, or a thank you card gift holder too. But the best part is, if you're like me, sometimes when you have to do gift cards, it's because you've either run out of time or you're just really not sure what to do for that person. And so it's nice to also be able to create a quick but pretty gift card holder to gift that to the recipient. I try not to use gift cards, but in a pinch, they have helped me out. And again, I think it could make a great thank you card, a birthday card, that type of thing. So to repeat measurements real quickly, 5 1/2 by 8 1/2 cardstock, score at 2 3/4 and 6 3/4. A second piece of cardstock, really to create whatever background you're going to put on your sentiment. It can be a scrap. You just need to have it big enough to fit however you're going to make that sentiment pop off your card. You need a piece of basic white that measures 4 3/4 by 3 1/2. That's for that inside piece. And then a scrap of basic white for your sentiment. And then the designer series paper on here measures 2 1/2 by 5 1/4 and 1 inch by 5 1/4. And that's all there is to this. So quick and easy. I mean, look at it's 10 of 8. I actually started on time. And in 20 minutes, I've shown you how to make this card. And I talked a lot at the very beginning, too. I do want to share with you that starting on November 13th to the 15th, Stampin' Up! Is having a sale on their annual catalog. It will include all bundles in the annual catalog. It does not apply to anything in the mini catalog or the online exclusives or close to my heart products. It'll include 10% off on cardstock, 20% off on bundles. So normally you get 10%. Now it's going to be 20% off for these couple days. And it's just a great way, if there's some items that you want, to pick up a few things and save a little bit of money. One of the things I need to do, oh, excuse me, is replenish some of my cardstock. And so I have put together my little wish list as I'm preparing for that. But just think about it. If there's some things like that, cardstock that you want, or if there's some bundles you've been thinking about and you want to get them now, 20% off instead of 10%. It's 2 days only, the 13th to the 15th. If you've got a demonstrator, by all means, please keep supporting that demonstrator with your purchases. If you don't have a demonstrator, I'm available to assist you. Just reach out to me. And in the meantime, if you do decide to make these cards, this gift card holder, please be sure to post a picture of what you create down in the comments below. I always appreciate when people do that because it's just a way to share our creativity. And I think that we can help each other by inspiring them. Like I said, this layout was inspired by Tracy Bradley from a couple years ago, based on the papers that she used, but the layout itself carries through to the current times. And it was a lot of fun to be able to find that and put these together for you. So I hope everybody has a great week. Take care, and I will see you all next week. Bye-bye.